This is a story that begins quietly, almost secretly, the kind of moment that would have passed unnoticed if not for the way Becky reacted. It wasn't an event, it wasn't a public appearance, and it wasn't anything staged for cameras. It was a gift. A single, mysterious gift handed from Freen to Becky on a day that should have been entirely ordinary. Yet somehow, that simple moment changed everything. Fans didn't see it coming, and even the industry was caught off guard. It started early in the morning, long before rehearsals, long before the staff filled the building. Becky had arrived first, ready for her call time, ready to go over the tight schedule she had for that day. She wasn't expecting anything unusual, and she definitely wasn't expecting Freen to show up behind her quietly, with something hidden behind her back. Freen had always been a bit unpredictable, but in her own gentle, thoughtful way. People often described her as someone who notices the little things, someone who observes even when no one realizes she's watching. But that morning, something about her felt different. There was a soft nervousness in her step, a certain formality in the way she approached Becky. And Becky noticed it immediately. When Becky turned around, she saw Freen standing there, her expression both hesitant and determined. Before Becky could say anything, Freen held out a small box, wrapped carefully in deep blue paper with a thin white ribbon. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't extravagant. It was simple, elegant, and deliberate. Becky froze, not because of the gift, but because of the rare look on Freen's face, a look that carried more meaning than she was ready to unravel at 7 in the morning. Becky asked if something was happening. Freen shook her head. Becky asked if it was her birthday. Freen shook her head again. Becky asked if she forgot an anniversary. Freen laughed, because Becky always asked that. And then Freen simply said that she saw something and thought of her. Nothing more. Nothing less. But for Becky, that explanation wasn't enough. Freen didn't give gifts without intention. Freen didn't act on impulse unless something deeply moved her. So Becky held the box carefully, almost unsure if she should open it right away. But Freen encouraged her. She wanted Becky to see it there, in that quiet moment before anyone else arrived. Becky lifted the lid slowly, her breath held, and what she found inside made her instantly freeze. It was a necklace, delicate, handcrafted, with a tiny pendant shaped like a small crescent moon. It wasn't expensive in appearance. It wasn't covered in diamonds or gems. Yet it was unmistakably meaningful. Because Becky knew the symbol, it was the same one she had admired quietly months ago while browsing a shop with Freen. Back then, Becky never said she wanted it. She never mentioned it again. She simply looked at it, paused for a second, then walked away. But Freen remembered. And not only did she remember, she carried that memory quietly until the day she placed the necklace in Becky's hands. Becky touched the pendant gently, feeling the cool metal and the warmth of the moment settling in her chest. She asked Freen how she even remembered it. Freen just shrugged and said she pays attention. Becky didn't know what to say, and for a rare moment, she felt overwhelmed. There were no cameras, no fans, no stage makeup hiding the softness in her expression. It was raw, real, and unguarded. She looked at Freen, really looked at her, and Freen held her gaze with a calm, steady warmth that Becky hadn't seen in a long time. But what made this gift even more mysterious wasn't the necklace itself. It was what Freen quietly added afterward. She told Becky that the necklace wasn't the whole gift. There was something else, something even more personal. At first, Becky didn't understand. She asked if there was something else inside the box. Freen shook her head. Then she pulled a folded piece of paper from her pocket, hesitant as if she wasn't sure if giving it was a good idea. She handed it to Becky, and Becky could immediately tell it wasn't something Freen wrote in a rush. It was a letter, handwritten, slightly smudged in one corner, as if Freen had rewritten it multiple times before settling on this final version. Becky unfolded it slowly. It wasn't long. It wasn't dramatic. But every single sentence carried weight. Freen wrote about the years they've worked together, the memories they made, the way Becky inspired her, the way Becky grounded her, the way Becky unknowingly kept her going even on the most exhausting days. She wrote about moments Becky had forgotten, moments she didn't realize were so significant to Freen. Moments where Becky's kindness, her patience, her quiet encouragement made a difference. Becky read the letter word by word, and by the time she reached the last line, her voice caught in her throat. Freen had ended it with something Becky absolutely did not expect. A line so vulnerable, so honest, that Becky read it twice just to make sure she wasn't imagining it. Freen wrote, "If I ever seemed distant, it wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I cared too much." Becky stood there silently, holding the necklace in one hand and the letter in the other. Freen didn't ask how she felt. She didn't rush her. She just stood there, waiting for Becky to take it in. Becky finally asked why Freen chose today, out of all days, to give her this. Freen said it was because she didn't want to keep carrying words she should have shared. She wanted Becky to know the truth, without cameras, without interviews, without speculation. Just truth. Just the two of them. Becky didn't realize she was tearing up until she felt the warmth on her cheek. She tried to laugh it off, but Freen stepped closer, gently wiping the tear away with her thumb, something she had never done before. Becky felt her breath catch. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't dramatic. It was simply sincere. But what made the entire moment unforgettable was what happened next. Staff began arriving. Footsteps echoed down the hall. Voices grew louder. But instead of stepping away, Freen stayed close. Becky noticed it instantly. Freen was never this bold in public spaces. She always kept a respectful distance. But this time, something was different. When one of the staff members turned the corner and saw them, Freen didn't pull back. She didn't hide the closeness, the softness, or the intimate atmosphere. She simply smiled calmly. Becky felt her heart race, not with fear, but with something that felt almost like relief. For once, they weren't pretending to be distant. For once, they weren't hiding their real connection. A staff member asked what they were doing. Becky tried to answer, but Freen spoke first. She simply said, "I was giving her something important." Word spread quickly. Fans began to notice Becky wearing the necklace in subtle moments, backstage, during rehearsals, in short clips where she forgot the cameras were rolling. Observant fans saw the crescent pendant gleaming under stage lights and began speculating immediately. Where did it come from? Why did she wear it so consistently? And why did Freen look at it with a quiet, knowing smile every time it appeared? The mystery grew. Every day, new theories spread online. Some thought it was a friendship gift. Others believed it was symbolic. And a few insisted it was something deeper. But the real shock came when Becky, during a live event, adjusted her neckline and the necklace slipped into full view. A fan zoomed in and noticed something tiny engraved on the back of the pendant. 3 words, not publicly readable, but clearly personal. The fandom exploded. Everyone wanted to know what the message said. Some speculated it was an inside joke. Others believed it was a date. But no one could confirm it. The mystery deepened further when Freen was asked about the necklace during an interview. She paused, smiled slightly, and gave an answer that sent chills through the entire fandom. She said, "Some gifts aren't meant for the world. They're meant for one person. And as long as she understands, that's enough." But the moment that truly sealed the mystery happened weeks later. During a taping break, Becky was seen touching the pendant absent-mindedly with a soft smile on her face, unaware that a behind-the-scenes camera was capturing her. The clip leaked, and fans immediately recognized the expression, the same expression Becky only ever had when she was thinking of something or someone special. The world didn't know what the engraving said. The world didn't know the full meaning of the letter. But one thing became unmistakably clear: the gift wasn't random. It wasn't casual. It wasn't something done for publicity. It was deeply personal, deeply intentional, and deeply connected to feelings that Freen had kept quiet for far too long. Becky later admitted privately to a close friend that the gift made her rethink many things. It made her look back on years of moments she didn't fully understand, moments where Freen's quiet care had been there all along. She confessed that receiving the gift made her realize just how much Freen had been holding back, how much she had carried silently. And while the world continued to speculate, analyze, and theorize, only one truth mattered: the gift changed their dynamic. It brought an unspoken understanding, a closeness stronger than before, a comfort that wasn't loud or dramatic but steady and profoundly genuine. In the end, it wasn't about the necklace or the letter. It was about something far deeper, the kind of quiet devotion that doesn't need recognition to exist. The kind of affection that grows quietly until it becomes impossible to ignore. The kind of connection that shifts everything without saying a word. The mystery gift became a symbol, not because fans understood it, but because they didn't have to. The meaning was between Freen and Becky alone, and yet the impact rippled through the entire industry. And because of that, one thing became clear: no one saw the gift coming. But once it arrived, nothing between them was ever quite the same again.